of seeing this team technically now. You know, a lot of rosters have kind of moved around in general, so and this is one of these teams. Frankly, I don't know if this is their actual roster or if they are using some ringers, but simply put, the team WOP Dash, at least formerly kind of known as the Mystery Gang, was their former team. Now again, so much has kind of changed, so it's hard to really say that was it. Point being, though, they had some experience being Diamond earlier part of the season. They eventually dropped down to Gold, and they kind of stayed in that area for really the rest of the season there. But they did enough to qualify. They were the final team, in fact, to qualify for what is now the Deadeye Bounty League and what will be the playoffs coming up in the Season 4 playoffs, of course, coming up after this event here. So we kind of get to see now what these guys are about, and we'll get to see a little bit more of them over throughout the course of these group stages. But I'm excited to see how they do against Fresh here, who's, of course, a great team themselves, and off to a great start as they got a victory in their first matchup. So currently have those 3 points. They defeated, who did they defeat? They beat Reason Gaming. That's right. They beat Reason Gaming 2-0 last week. Anyways, I'm talking about what you got once again as my co-caster, so happy to have him back. All right.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, there we go. There's the introduction of what we got here in the match, but now let's look at the heroes and stuff. Because we got some interesting stuff here. Arachna is definitely a little noticeable. Blitz on the other side. What are you looking at here?
Okay, well, we do have Fresh doing their signature Probusk on Wild Soul, so they're going to run an aggressive tri-lane with very deadly combination, Magnus, Glacius, and Engineer. So they're going to be putting the farm onto Denver Pro, playing he's actually Denver Pro. It was Denver Dub Pro before.
He was.
Okay, anyway, they're going to be putting their farm onto Magnus here in the tri-lane with a secondary support Engineer and a hard support Glacius, and then they have Arachna, who is actually being played by Zephyronte, so it looks like they're not using different guys able to play today. So he's stepping in, so Fresh using a ringer. And that's their lineup. Then we have an offlane Pharaoh going to go up against the Wild Soul. We have a Parasite Jungle, a support Blitz with a hard carry TDL, and a mid Salforus.
You mentioned Dark Liddy. She did get that little bit of a buff even, somewhat of a revert, not all the way, but yeah, it's now 11 seconds at level 4 here. Compared to, I believe it was 9 seconds beforehand. But anyways, point being, it's definitely better now than it was before. I know that was a big criticism of the nerf that hit this hero, and clearly felt like maybe it was a little over the top. So they toned it down, and yeah, we do see it here. So I'm excited to see how Imbipingu plays it here for WOP Dash and its success. Obviously, potentially a very, very strong hero. But as we've seen here, they do run the aggressive tri-lane against her. And it's causing a lot of issues early on. Blitz trying to ruin control, but so is Glacius. And he happens to get the Invis rune. In fact, the Keg Stun just missing right there. Nice sidestep by the Forgotten One. And he actually will be out of range for any follow-up there. So good play on his part. Not getting killed at least.
Yeah, so TDL might not have the greatest start since she is going up against a tri-lane, but TDL also at the same time, one of those infamous hard carries of being able to deal with a tri-lane, being able to sit back, last hit with the Tainted Soul, which he's put 2 points into, so he's going to be using that to last hit as well as the Hatchet. So still managing 10 creep kills, which isn't really too bad at all, given the circumstances.
That's a good point, yeah. The Tainted Soul, the Hatchet, it's almost like a little bit of a range last hitter in a way because of those abilities. Even going up right there and getting a last hit with the melee, so... Yeah, I mean, there's another couple, 13 creep kills. Honestly, that's pretty damn good when you think about it, considering, again, there is that tri-lane here, so not too shabby at all. In fact, she has more than Wild Soul currently. I mean, that's pretty good. Point is pretty good. You see top lane, they're kind of roaming around a little bit, almost like they want to flank here, but they see the pole camp going on, so going to deal with that here in the meantime. Try to prevent Blitz from getting some free experience at least. But, I mean, both supports continue to be up here. Is this something that they should be doing, you think, on Fresh? Or should we maybe see Glacius, maybe go mid or NG? Or should they leave the solos as be?
Well, if they get the kill onto TDL here, which they definitely might be able to. The Charging Strike's going to buy him the distance. But, yeah, it's kind of one of those cases where they might not be necessarily stopping TDL from getting the farm, but at the same time, it's securing Magnus that he gets to sit on the wave and get as many last hits as he can, so he's not really getting contested.
Yeah.
And also, it's you want the levels to go out onto both the Wild Soul and the Arachna. You don't want to slow their progression at all with a support sharing their experience. So they get the level 6 onto Arachna. Wild Soul gets his level so that he can eventually rotate into the jungle, which he'll start to look to stack camps with his bear, and then he'll start to snowball from there. Probusk actually putting a lot of pressure onto Pharaoh, forcing him all the way back to the tower, very low HP. So Busk doing a really good job here in the bottom lane, pretty much controlling the CS. Actually got pressured a little bit by the aggressive jungling Parasite, who has now rotated back into his own jungle. It looks like both the camps are unblocked, so he should be able to stay up here and help the top lane if he can, to get TDL some more space if possible.
Yeah, Wild Soul, though, he knows what he's doing. Obviously, Probus has done this plenty with the short lane, and he is going to easily push in the tower here. 5 minutes into the game, just a solo tower push from Wild Soul coming out. So that farm just starts to really jump up there now, 400 plus gold per minute. Gets the early steam boots picked up. Again, not much Pharaoh can do really at that point there. So
Yeah, and it's really crazy because all he has is boots on both his bear and his hero, and he's able to apply so much pressure to not only the lane and Pharaoh himself, but also take down the tower at 5 minutes in. That is just crazy amounts of lane harassment pressure that he's able to apply.
yeah,
So really good job by Busk there. And now he's going to do what I said, which is get that level 6, rotate into the jungle, start clearing out stacks, look to stack perhaps a couple with his bear. He's going to send it out there. That's a really heads-up play. And he'll just start to snowball from there.
yeah. That's the idea here. So yeah, stacking a couple of camps and going from there. And again, see the Hellborn team not really addressing that at least just yet, and how much they can do just yet. Obviously, they have to kind of prioritize themselves too, but that's going to be something that they will have to eventually deal with, of course. And it's going to be a tough task, no doubt. Lord Salforus is a hero that tends to be considered pretty good against Wild Soul because of the ultimate, the preventing him from life stealing is a pretty powerful tool, especially
yeah.
in that ulti form. That's what Wild Soul really banks on, it seems like. So having that is good, and he is also looking really good. Tassi here playing 350 gold per minute. Up to a strong start. Top lane. Looks like they're trying to set up again. But, oh, well, kind of sneaking up. It's almost like they're planning to go here. In fact, Darkly now running into them. Oh, no, there's the turning strikes, but they miss.
That was super close. Just a little bit of a vision issue with the tree line there. Had Glacius seen that just a fraction of a second sooner, that would most likely be a dead Dark Lady.
Yeah, a little unfortunate right there, so. But Dark Lady, got to give credit to him being here, no doubt. He's the fact that, again, he's 220 gold per minute, 25-0. He's not died yet. It's huge, so that's definitely some great news for WOP Dash over here. As Blitz is only level 2 still, however, so Blitz on the other side of it. I know he's a support, just support really, but definitely needs to
By the way,
get some levels. What's up?
he hasn't skilled anything yet, which I find to be a little bit interesting since it is 7.5 minutes in. But hasn't needed to use an ability yet, so hasn't thus skilled anything. Saving the point for whether he needs to get away with the Quicken or to look for a kill with both the Blitzkrieg and the Pilfering. So I just found that quite interesting, as you know the game has progressed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
I can't talk today.
There's that Blitzkrieg coming out, but yeah, that is something. No hero kills just yet, definitely. So, not necessarily needing anything yet, but could be needing something soon here. Again, it's just so tense up here at the top lane. It feels like any second they could be going in, trying to make a play, but just not happening. So, she's got Ghost Marcher. She just got her Ring of the Teacher. Continues to do pretty damn solid, actually, overall here. So, Arachna will head back to the middle lane, has that Invis rune currently. He's going to look to maybe make play on South Forest. We saw her, she used her Spider Sting actually earlier on South Forest, but he immediately just TP'd back to base and eventually ran back here, so I guess it got him out of the lane, but other than that, not accomplishing a whole lot there from Zephyronte. So back to farm he goes, but South Forest What kind of build do you think South Forest should go for this time around? He definitely can vary in his build from game to game. What are you looking for here?
Seeing as they have the hard carry in the Dark Lady, I don't think we need to see anything out of the ordinary other than stuff like utility. Tablet Sheepstick could be very good. Um, Perhaps a Shrunken Head or a Portal Key at some point to deal with the crowd control. Portal Key I suggest only if he has the Sheepstick so he can initiate. But yeah, items like Sheepstick, Shrunken Head are going to be pretty good this game. Provide the lockdown for his team so Dark Lady can do the damage, and Shrunken Head so he can sustain himself through the Engineer Field, the Magnus ulti.
Yeah. Yeah, Energy Field, definitely one of those abilities in general. It's like, yeah, I really should probably get a Shrunken Head here, so would not be surprised to see that at all. We saw a little bit of roam there coming out again. Coming up to 10 minutes in here, still no bloodlust kill at this point. This is pretty damn rare, especially nowadays, to have 10 minutes into a game and no kills yet happening. And I mean, there's been a little bit of try, obviously the top lane most noticeably, but other than that, it has overall been fairly passive here. And I think a lot of it, too, comes back to the supports, the dual supports, Engineer and Glacius. They haven't really been roaming. It's been a lot of sticking up here for the most part and trying a couple times maybe in Dark Lady, but coming up short. But I know you talked about that earlier. It's like they really can't do much else, though, other than maybe try to find Blitz in the jungle, which they kind of did earlier, but he got away. So just haven't been able to actually get kills here.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where the two solo heroes that they've decided to go for aren't heroes that they can really look to set up plays with. They're more of layback. Arachna wants to keep her lane control on her hill, deny and farm as much as possible against the South Forest, and then Wild Soul, Oh, wow. There we go, Bloodlust.
There we go. Sure enough, in favor of the Hellborn team, actually. Parasite's another reason why it's a little bit shocking to not have a Bloodlust kill just yet, but sure enough, he's there to assist in that one. Kind of came out and caught Magnus off guard. The Dark Blade's also assisting with that, of course, preventing him from getting away. So that's a good kill for WOP Dash here. And now that's going to open up the top lane a bit, you feel, too. I mean, Dark Lady, she's going to now start to be able to get some nice farm up here because of that.
And it is 11 minutes in now, and normally I want to say around the... When heroes hit level 6s, like the Pharaoh, the Parasite, that's usually when we see the collapse onto the short lane to force the tri lane out. So I would say the supports actually got to stay up there quite a long time. At least in this case, not being forced out until, past 10 minutes. So it was pretty good for them that they were able to stay up there that long, but at the same time, TDL still has 53 CS, almost 300 GPM against the tri lane. Not too bad. But they are going back up here, it looks like, so...
Engineer. He avoids the Minotaur stun at least, so a little bit of a lack of coordination there, but it might not matter in the end as they kill Magnus anyways. And in fact, Glacius now a little too far up perhaps. Pharaoh coming in, he already used his ultimate actually. Guessing he missed it because I didn't actually see it come out right there. So he's actually in a little bit of trouble now, being chased down by Wild Soul Boo Boo. Getting the auto attacks, nice Taint Soul though, and eventually we'll get him the distance to survive these illusions. Yeah, just illusions in the background there. Causing a little bit of issues, but nothing too much. So another kill for our Hellborn team here, and then they happen to get out of it before losing any casualties there. So,
yeah, this is really good for WOP Dash. They forced all 5 from Fresh to go to the top lane. They didn't get any kills. They were able to take down the Magnus before all the TPs came in. And all the meanwhile, South Forest, who his TP was on cooldown while the fight was going on, pushed and put a lot of pressure under the tier 1 in the bottom lane. So a lot of rotations into the top for Fresh. Weren't able to get anything out of it, unfortunately.
See South Forest over here. He's level 11. He's got the tablet here early on, so it does have a little bit of that utility now to be able to work with over here. The Sustainer on Dark Lady. So yeah, that Rune Cleaver coming pretty nicely here for the Hellborn side. Of course, the big positive for Mint is that Wild Soul, 500 plus gold per minute. Firebrand on him with the Abyssal Skull. And another 700 or so gold saved up on Probusk here. So Arachna, another curious hero in this game, does have a Quick Blade picked up to go with the Energizer and the Steam Boots. Probably going to be going for a Firebrand herself, you'd assume. Unless, I mean, no Fireblade this game, I guess, wouldn't be too bad, but it's definitely not like a necessary item either, so.
Yeah, I would say it's not out of the question. You can purge Dark Blades, you can purge the Parasite Facehug. I believe you can even purge the Quicken off of whoever that gets used on, but at the same time, I think we're just going to see the routine Firebrand into Shrunken Head for Arachna. Wild Soul, on the other hand, I think can afford to be a little bit greedier just because of the nature of the hero. He's going to be working on stacks. He's going to farm a lot faster than the Arachna. Top lane, we do have a dive coming out.
Yeah, I've been watching this up here. Engineer, I mean, he does eventually go down. Pharaoh, though, will fall in response, so it took a while at least, but it is a 2-for-1 in favor of this Legion team, or Hellborn team, excuse me, as now here comes Parasite, who, by the way, does have a Codex. He's going to look to use the first right here on it, Arachna, and she goes down. She did get the Hardened Carapace out, but it still was just too much damage to handle. In the end, they also get the bottom tower kill here. Lord Salforus, though, he's going to fall victim in response to that. So a little bit of a downside to that, of course. But getting the tower kill, still at least nice for them on top of what happened at the top lane for WOP Dash. So continue
WOP Dash looking really solid so far in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely don't want to get ahead of ourselves by any means. But, yeah, no, they are absolutely looking very strong here. Now, I don't know what it is, but I feel like we've seen now several Codex Parasites lately happening. I don't know if that's just pure coincidence, or is this kind of a transition? I mean, is there a reason for that? Is Puzzle Block just not as good all of a sudden? I don't know.
Okay, my thought process is maybe he figured Wild Soul would go for an Alchemist Bones. It is quite popular when playing against the Parasite because just the hero farms a lot of stacks. He usually has the time to do so, so why not go Alchemist Bones, especially if you're against the Parasite. But as we can see, he hasn't gone for it here, so maybe anticipated something like this would happen, thus going for the Codex. The other thought process could be, I just need to create as much space as possible for Dark Lady so he can recover, so I'm going to play active once I get the Codex picked up. Look for kills on the Wild Soul and the Arachna, even the Magnus if possible. So there could be that logic behind it. However, had I been playing the Parasite this game, I would still go for the puzzle, simply due to playing against a Magnus. An Arachna, you can kill the Spider quickly for your team with the minions, even the energy field, so it has multiple purposes this game, I would say. The only drawback would be obviously that Wild Soul's a good Alchemist Bones candidate to deter myself picking that up. So I think the puzzle box, I want to say like 7 to 8 out of 10 times is just super good over the Codex to pick up. But if he uses the Codex in the way that I mentioned, then I have not as much of a problem as of him going at this game as maybe in other games.
Okay. Well, again, he is leveling it up on top of that. He at least at level 2 in the last check, so keep an eye on that. And again, if and when he continues to level it up further, there's a lot of gold he's investing. It's at level 5. You're looking at 7,000 gold, of course, that you put into that item.
Yeah.
So it's better be worth it. You better have kills. Essentially, is the point there with that item. Or else it kind of wasn't that worth it, you could argue. But, again, for now, still a little bit earlier on, he's 1-0-2, and obviously his team is in the better spot right now, so it's hard to argue really fully against it here. Top lane, though, you got Wild Soul pushing it in with his whole team behind him. Here he's got the Shrunken Head coming up just around the corner now, so, I mean, we've known this now. Wild Soul, he's continuing to be very farmed here, 600-plus gold per minute here now, as there is the Shrunkens. But as far as backup goes, I mean, Arachna's not doing horribly by any means, but, you know, not also taking off necessarily either. And 330 gold per minute. Does got that Firebrand, as you mentioned. Magnus does have his core here, of that being the Portal Key, of course. So it's a nice backup to the Wild Soul. But pretty good spread also on the Hellborn side, though, amongst their heroes. You see on the GPM chart there.
Yeah, and it's just the nature of Arachna. She has no farming mechanics, so she's really forced to just sit on lanes and farm. And then when Wild Soul comes over like he's doing right now, and he just says, hey, this is mine, then that's just, you know, that much less that Arachna has to work with. Especially when they're giving all of the ancient stacks and, you know, the majority of the jungle to Wild Soul as well. So It's just the nature of the hero. It doesn't have a way of boosting that farm like other, uh, I would say, carries can do. So seeing him around the 300 GPM mark isn't out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Caught that kill at the top lane. A big one at that, of course. Imapingu on that Dark Lady getting picked off. That was a beautiful Geg stun, by the way, into the channeling eruption of Magmas, put it basically in the center of it, and then just nothing she could do. Now, she did use her charging strikes right prior to that to farm, pushing up the lane, so there's a little bit of a criticism there, no doubt, to Dark Lady, but it just happened to be a couple of heroes nearby were waiting for something like that. So, yeah, you got to be a little careful, obviously, using your escape tool as an aggressive play like that, or else something like that can happen, as we saw. So, does have 2,000 gold saved up, despite that death right here, but having to wait a little bit longer before coming back up, and we'll see what she gets next now. I mean, she could finish the full Abyssal Skull by now if she wanted to, but there we go, in fact. Is going to get that here.
So yeah, that was a really big kill for Fresh, slowing down the TDL, who that was her first death, and although being Charlene did have quite a successful start. They're going to put some pressure on a Wild Soul here in the top, but I don't think anything's going to come of that. Wild Soul even turning it around and doing a bit of damage back to Blitz. So middle lane, we have an invisible Magmus, no eruption for about 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to rotate top, perhaps?
He's walking up here with that invis, but ooh, Dark Lady is found here. Mentioned still has about 10 seconds now on that eruption. He's gonna be basically be a moving ward right now. Matter is, will they be able to eventually catch her in a bad spot? Oh, if she goes middle here, yeah, she's dead. I mean, she just charging strikes aggressively right there. Yeah, this is gonna be the second time this has happened now.
Out, that's a dead Dark Lady. So yeah, that's the second time now, and that's where if you're in Bapingu, you'd say to yourself, okay, I can't do that anymore to farm, because every time I've done it, it's cost my team either a tower, or in this case, it's going to cost them a Kongor. So, Engineer, okay, Glacier's going to get initiated on.
Oh, yeah, nice pick on Glacius. I heard the Wrath of the Pharaoh going off, and sure enough, quick pick on him. So, nice find there, but still should be a free Kongor.
Engineer almost has a portal key picked up, so that's what I was about to mention.
What are they doing here? Pharaoh's kind of going in. I mean, there's no way they're making a play here. I'm surprised that, honestly, Mint didn't jump them. Because they're not ready to fight. I mean, Dark Lady's staying dead. Obviously, Parasite is going to be able to run away initially. Can he actually escape here? There's a web shot of hits, and now Parasite's in a lot of trouble. In fact, well, dead trouble. He goes down there. So, yeah, really, really tempting fate right there was WOP Dash with sticking around as much as they were. I mean, they clearly they weren't going to steal the token or anything like that. They were just kind of hanging around just because, and, in cases like that, you're usually just better off split pushing or getting farm elsewhere. Or else stuff like that can happen. So, Parasite picked. Middle lane, what's going on here? Lord South Forest, wow, he's going really deep with that portal key of his. Well, he gets the kill on a Glacius, but at what cost now here? Blitz in trouble. Blitz is going to fall as Lower South Forest survives, but that ends up being a one-for-one support for support. So, again, not necessarily a trade you really want here for your WOP Dash.
Ooh, there's 4 mines. They are level 4, actually.
Oh, wow. Excellent, nice.
I think we would need 5 to take down TDL. I could be wrong on my math, but had he walked into those, that could have gotten him quite low.
Yeah. Forward to that opportunity, but yep, couple of crucial pickoffs here. Crucial kills for Mint. And now this Wild Soul especially.
Oh, wait, they put the token onto Arachna. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm kind of surprised over the Wild Soul, actually. Because he is the hero that would be sitting up in the front line, sitting towers. Yeah, I'm not too sure if I like that.
But is he going to die? I think that's like part of the idea.
I guess that's their reasoning. Because Arachna doesn't have his Shrunken Head picked up yet, and Wild Soul does, so that is probably the reasoning they go with the token on Arachna.
Yeah, I mean, And if you're WOP Dash, you obviously you take what you can get a lot of cases, but going into a fight and think of like priority as far as targets, I would think it's going to be like the Arachna, right? Like the Arachna, maybe like the NG before it gets energy field off, things like that. Probably not the Wild Soul. If anything, you want to crowd control him as much as possible. So yeah, again, from that
Yeah, they're
perspective,
probably
it
gonna
makes
want
sense.
to try and burst down Arachna with that Codex Parasite and get the ultimate from Sulfuras up onto Wild Soul just so he's not regenning life. But yeah, yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Engineer and Arachna are probably the high priority targets as well as the Magmas. So Sulfuras has a little over 3,000 gold picked up. I want to say he's going for. Oh, he does pick up a portal key actually, so it could be the sheepstick since he does go for the portal key. And they could definitely use the lockdown at the moment, so Shrunken Head wouldn't be out of the question, but I think sheepstick is the more obvious choice.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned
And
Shrunken Head, energy field again, kind of one of those abilities. It's like it's really good to have that. So
yeah,
no matter what he figures is better here. Sheepstick
and now the
pretty good,
question is whether Dark Lady can be greedy and go for a firebrand, or whether he needs to go for the Shrunken Head right away. Seeing as how the pace of the game is going, he might have to go for Shrunken right now. Because they do have a token and they could potentially look to go high ground very soon. And if that is the case, he will need his Shrunken to be able to team fight. So what happens in the next couple of minutes is going to dictate what TDL decides to go for.
Oh, we got Stealth Hunter over here from Parasite. Oh, he tries to open on the Engineer. Actually misses it a little bit, though, going on the uphill right there. Got caught in the dark, and Engineer actually reacts with that portal key that he just picked up fairly recently here. So he gets away. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, you see Min taking advantage of that distraction there. They're going to push in this bottom tower now. You got the Wingbow well in the works here for Wild Soul. Already has the Dancing Blade, of course. 1,300 gold saved up on top of that. So, yeah, the Shrunken on South Forest, you mentioned. It's obviously not going to be Firebrand at this point. Well, has the gold for it, so probably going to be Shrunken and Dark Lady as well. She is split pushing the top lane, but going to be decision time now as Wild Soul starts falling back, though, so never mind. It looks like Mint's going to make it easy on that decision there. Not going to push in. Dark Lady gets the top tower, actually, though.
Parasite gets the middle tower in the cannon, so that's actually a really nice job by WOP Dash. They do save the base tower. Oh, there's the mines coming into play top lane. Hello.
Did he run into them? He did.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on NG. He's been mining this top lane, which
big
is
fight in the
very
bottom lane,
smart.
by the way. They're engaging down here. We already see the one kill on a Magnus. Wild Soul had that Shrunken Head up. The Mummy Wall is causing some issues, though, and he's going to have to run away. Arachna's picked off. It gets the token, but it's not going to matter. She's going to die after as well, and they only got the one on a Pharaoh right there. Now, Dark Lady did buy back,
Yep.
obviously, after that death of the top lane. So, very good response, though, from WOP Dash here, despite losing Dark Lady at the beginning.
Yep, definitely. I think that was a solid buyback. They did get, was it 3 kills or 4? 3 kills, it looks like, and they did hold their base, so it's a good buyback.
Yeah, you got Wild Soul pushing back out the top lane now, but yeah, the Mind Trap, it's fun to see, and definitely is, big kill to get a big target there, but, maybe that's what caused Mint to realizing that was as big as that kill that was. They figured, okay, we're going to now push pretty heavy into the base, but clearly he had the buyback and obviously made a big play with it. So he's going to have a Shrunken now, too. By the time the next fight rolls around, he's just about there, cleaning up the Legion stacks here, more so the Legion jungle in general. Right here, you got the Geometer's Bane finished on Arachna. As that be able to help escape. And there's the Wingbow, yep. Bow delivered to Wild Soul, so he is now going to be very difficult here to actually deal with in the midst of these fights. But again, we kind of saw last fight. You just kind of crowd control him, and he especially got stuck in the Mummy Wall was the biggest thing. Can't do much about that. I mean, similar to the Warbeast, the previous series, it's kind of a bane of Warbeast, those Mummy Walls. Create the barrier around him. It's a very powerful strategy to go with. So that's where barbed armor is good to have too.
Yeah, so Pharaoh in this case, he's gonna lock down the Wild Soul. They have to get the Undying 100% onto Wild Soul because otherwise, Wild Soul is just gonna eat through the barbed armor Pharaoh. And the whole point of the barbed is so that Wild Soul takes the damage. But if he's not Sulfuras ulted, he basically will just regen all the life from the lifesteal. So they have to make sure to get that onto him. Otherwise, it'll almost be like the barbed is doing nothing, unfortunately, just because of how much lifesteal Wild Soul actually has between the natural attunement and the Abyssal Skull.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. All right. A couple of pauses here coming out, but now back to resume. And what is game number 1 of this 2-game series here, WOP Dash versus Fresh, our second series of the day. Of course, that means that we got one more to follow this. What's going to be Complexity versus Reason. Will be coming up here in just a little bit. So, Joe, about what you got. Here's my co-caster. Speaking of Complexity, is joining me as a caster before we're going to be playing later on today. So, looking forward to that here.
Yep.
We got again another entertaining series in this one. This is game 1 again. This WOP Dash team, especially, really not knowing exactly what to expect with them. Being that we haven't seen these guys in a while, but off to a strong start here once again against a very solid Fresh team here, just say the least. So we got Dark Lady cleaning out the Ancients and going to pour it out before she gets caught. So does have enough for the Shrunken once again, but buyback is also, pretty important here, but buys it anyways. There we go. So now it does have the full Shrunken here. Going to be coming out.
So Magnus has a Manitou picked up, and that doesn't build Sheepstick anymore, which to me was what I thought he was going to go for. It looks like he will be going for, I think, a Cyclone, Storm Spirit, which he has just about enough gold for if he does decide to go for that.
And would that be bad? I mean, it's obviously the idea, the more defensive item than offensive, but...
I think it's okay, only because his GPM isn't that high. He's giving a lot of space to both Arachna and Wild Soul, which is good in its own right. So he's not able to afford a Sheepstick. At least he won't be able to for a very long time. So me being able to pick up another team crowd control / saving item is better than saving up a lot of gold to try and get a sheep super late. So
yeah,
I do like it. And if he can use that on whoever's getting jumped by TDL and Parasite, then it has a lot of value for his team.
Dark Lady not going to take any risks down there at the bottom lane. Again, earlier on the game especially, found herself a couple times being somewhat risky, ends up dying with it. So playing it safe here, understandably. As I say this in the jungle, Pharaoh went in actually with the ultimate, but no follow-up, he falls back. Yeah, meanwhile over here, Eruption though coming out, Energy Field, pushes him out. If hit, Magnus though gets killed in the process, and actually Lord Self-Force is going to live. Had some great team support there, especially Blitz helping at the last second with that quick in. So it seemed like Self-Force, I mean, he was the one jumped and everything. Not only he survives, but they get a turn kill on a Magnus there. Not an easy target to kill, obviously, is Self-Force.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure if he was originally in the energy field and got kegged out, but he did get kegged backwards. Okay, so then it was a good job. I was gonna say it was a misplay by Engineer, but it was okay then. Just not able to bring him down. He is too tanky and does have the Shrunken, so just not able to quite bring him down.
You know what is interesting too? Speaking of that, he didn't even use a Shrunken. He still has a full 10 seconds on it, so. Yeah,
yep, and he's definitely had it because he has 4,600 gold.
No, he's had it for a little bit here.
Sheepstick will be now the next item.
Yeah,
he's buying all 4 items that I suggested, so kudos to him.
Tuning into the cast.
I don't know if I had the order correct, but we're getting the job done.
Blitz, that's the worst feeling, especially in a hero like Blitz where you got that speed so you can run really fast, obviously, but when that auto attack's in the air, you kind of just almost have to accept it unless you have some kind of disjoint, obviously, but right there, it was flying through the air from Wild Soul, and sure enough, it connected and got the kill. Meanwhile, Pharaoh in the jungle Again, he's down here. He saw this before. He ended up kind of running away, but this time he runs into too many heroes, and he gets picked off. So, you know, Pharaoh's not a hero that's going to be getting kills by himself, though, so I'm not too sure what the plan is there with Cookies and Pharaoh, but he gets found, whatever it was, and he's going to be dead now. He does have a buyback. Might need to use it here, actually, as they're pushing in.
Yeah, Dark Lady's going to TP back now, so the buyback should come out any second now.
He does not have ultimate, though. Oh, look at that, though. That level 5 Codex. He just snipes out Glacius, so just like that, one hero's down. Kind of rinse and repeat here.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's a kill that's going to force Fresh to stop what they're doing, so they're just going to go for this Rax here, and they're going to get it looks like.
Jeez, I mean, they're just not doing anything. Yeah, Wild, finally the jump happens. Here's a reaction, though, with the energy field put down. Cycle Stick as well on a Wild Soul. The Rax is going to fall, and Lord Self-Force melts in the midst of it. On top of that, Dark Lady, she's trying to pick out the supporting caster around, doing a pretty good job of that, but now Dark Lady, excuse me, he ends up falling. Wild Soul, you see right there, the barbed armor's out, but he almost just doesn't care. He attacks right through it. Hat trick coming out all of a sudden for Probusk. And now he's going to start falling back. But he essentially was 1 versus 4ing or whatever their team right there at the end. And he made it work, obviously, for him. So, yeah, Wild Soul is crazy farming. Again, I mean, that was the right idea, I think, for WOP Dash. Just try to car control him as much as possible. But it still wasn't enough.
Actually scaring him off. Or he just wants the haste.
Yeah, I think he just wants the haste and go back in. Top lane, though. Well, Bunny Lover again falls.
Post haste top just to snipe out Glacius. But yeah, Wild Soul, oh man, that lifesteal is crazy. We saw once Pharaoh pops the barb, Wild Soul just doesn't care. He just pops, or he just right clicks and basically gets back what he's losing from the barbed. So it's almost like he's not taking any damage at all.
Where's his bear, by the way? Okay, he
in the base.
Oh, is it regenerating? Okay, that makes sense then, yeah.
He might be... Actually, no, I don't think you can do that. I was playing Wild Soul the other day, and I don't know if I was able to move an item from my hero into my stash while I was, like, across the map or not.
Huh.
But, yeah, he's going to run back to base to break up his Frostburn. And... it could be Geo's or Frostwolf. It'll probably be Frostwolf, but again, it could be either. Actually, he has enough gold to probably buy both, so.
Yeah, he does, actually.
Yep, he buys both, so. Yep, gold's not an issue for Wild Soul. He buys both, and even still has 2,000 gold.
Wow.
That's 787. I think we overlooked that. Wow. It's almost 800 gold per minute. That is pretty ridiculous. Almost Mage Bane tier. But,
yeah, no, that is absolutely impressive to see right there. And again, more understandably how he was able to dominate that last fight so much as he did. Again, like I said, I give credit to WOP Dash for that last fight. That they had the right idea with who they were focus firing and everything, but I will say the one maybe glaring criticism is that they went in very late. Like, they literally waited for the melee racks to be like at 2% life when they actually went to try to make a play right there. When it's just, I don't know. I guess they just didn't have, like, Pharaoh's ultimate was still down, so maybe that was the biggest thing. Yeah, and looking at this Hellborn team a little more even, they really don't have that a big initiator other than Pharaoh, and he's more of the single target, so that is a little bit of an issue, I guess, when it comes to
and Wild Soul takes down Kongor so quickly. But yeah, when you normally pick up a Pharaoh, you normally like to have a very aggressive makeup around him, play very active with that hook, but they did go for the single initiator here in this case. That damage is crazy.
Yeah, and the slow on top of that, the Frostal Skull, the Spider Sting, you're not getting away from anything there. Ends up falling pretty quickly. Now Pharaoh buys back, and so does whoever else died right there. Anyways, they're all up still, so it just doesn't matter, though. The Rax falls anyways. Wild Soul's like, come at me. You can't do a damn thing. Kenjiro picked up by Dark Lady. In the background, Lord Self-Force jumping in, but he went a little too far, it seems like. He is going to end up falling. They kill Glacius. Yeah, Wild Soul is just going on a murderous rampage back here, though. He takes out Pharaoh yet again, and now it's him versus the team yet again, and they're just trying to run. And they can't even do that. A double tap for Probust. Dark Lady chasing down, actually, on a Magmus. Nice Storm Spirit. Dark Hoodie should be able to get the skill. Maybe. Oh, can't even get it. And now Wild Soul going to chase down Dark Hoodie. Unless that Genjiro is enough. The Bound Eye not in a range. So, yeah, Dark Hoodie will survive. She goes back in, gets the kill, but at what cost here? The Kite isn't enough. No, it's not. She goes down anyways. Wild Soul manning up. Pops a Shrunken. And now he's looking to finish off Parasite. There we go. This is just something. He
He's
gets
just a
multiple
one-man
double
army.
taps.
Oh man, it's just crazy. Whoever he right clicks, just like they immediately just start running away.
Yeah, you can't fight it.
Man. And look at him, he just sliced one creep wave, and he
that
goes
life
from
steal.
super low to almost full.
That's
just
insane.
like that.
The Abyssal. No, he doesn't even have the Abyssal anymore. That's just simply.
He has it on his bear, so he's getting
okay.
more.
You're right. Okay.
With the token on his hero.
I freaked out there for a second, but even with that, man, that's still just that's crazy. Okay, they're gonna go again, round 2, round 3 even. All right, here goes the raid boss. Can they actually take him out this time around? He's basically giving them mega creeps. Oh, they can't. He's just
they
live
can't do
stealing.
anything to him. That is insane.
Was he attacking his own bear right there?
I don't know.
I think for a second he was actually attacking his own bear for life steal. Oh boy. Anyways, yeah, he's just they're just having, this is overtime here. They're just having fun, I guess. Look at the taunt there even at the end. Oh, Probusk, he's loving it. He wants the Immortal. Get the Immortal. Let him get it. Yes.
Oh man, there it is.
All right, now you can.
And like he just takes almost no damage with the barb. Even the barb popped him. Unfair. But yeah.
All right.
Wild Soul, baby. 1v5.
Learned a lot more about Wild Soul right there. And a little bit of an amp there at the end, but 892 coal per minute, even before that amp at the end. I mean, he was still in that 700 range like we're pointing out. Very impressive there as far as being higher up in the GPM state. So, yeah, I guess obviously, he was the biggest factor in the end, no doubt. But, yeah, anything else? Final thoughts on that game one there? What you got?
So yeah, I think WOP Dash, in all honesty, they were doing quite well in the very early stages of the game. They were